Welcome back to the IBSP. Here's your host, Boxing News.
Crawford and Benavidez, look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And welcome to another edition of the Q&A series with the IBFP. And look, we got some interesting questions here today. And the first one we get is Terence Crawford beating Canelo Alvarez, bigger than him, going undisputed at 154. And I have to be honest about it and tell you, yes, beating Canelo Alvarez is a bigger accomplishment for Terence Crawford than him going undisputed at 154. Think about this. You look at Terence Crawford going undisputed at 140, and it really didn't mean much. It's a nice little accolade, but none of those guys were elite. That's not meaningful. It's a hollow accomplishment because you didn't beat any killers to get that accomplishment. That's what we're saying. So when you look at this situation, you look at everybody at 154, and it's an intriguing division. I would love to see Terence Crawford go for undisputed at 154, make history, be a three-weight undisputed champion. I would love to see that personally, but when you look at it, you see Sebastian Fundora, the WBO champion, Sebastian Fundora, the WBC champion, Bakram, the IBF champion, and Jermell Charlo is a champion in recess. None of those guys are what Canelo Alvarez is. Canelo Alvarez, four-weight world champion, first ballot Hall of Famer, arguably the best Mexican to ever fight in boxing history. So when you look at all of these things, it's a no-brainer that a Canelo Alvarez victory on Terence Crawford's resume is much bigger than him going undisputed at 154. And then let's get to the next question. The next question is David Benavidez, if he beats David Morrell, what do you think he'll do next? First off, David Benavidez and David Morrell are fighting, and they have the mandatory spot on the line. So the winner of Beterbiev Bivol will have to fight the winner of Benavidez Morrell. They will be mandatory for the winner of that fight. Now, what's interesting about all of this is Artur Beterbiev has already expressed a desire and interest is once he becomes undisputed, he'll move up in weight. Well, Artur Beterbiev is already undisputed, and if he beats Dimitri Bivol in the rematch, then that's it for him. He's likely moving up in weight to cruiserweight. That's what I expect from Artur Beterbiev. Once he does that, the title then becomes vacant. What happens with a vacant title, according to the WBC rules, they may just elevate their mandatory contender. So if David Benavidez beats David Morrell and Artur Beterbiev moves up to cruiserweight, then David Benavidez will not fight for the WBC title. He will be elevated to WBC champion at 175 pounds. And then what would happen is that would open the door for a Canelo Alvarez-David Benavidez super fight. Assuming Canelo Alvarez has not taken any losses or anything like that, that would open the door. Now this will be the first time that David Benavidez has a belt, and he's calling out Canelo. So now that would make perfect sense. Now Canelo has something to gain, and that's a world title. Now this all makes sense at that point. It's a massive payday. It's a world title fight. And it's huge for Canelo at this point. I believe at that time is what you would expect is David Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez super fight to be made. I think at that point, if Canelo's still winning and still doing good, then I expect that fight to happen if David Benavidez is elevated to the full WBC champion at 175 pounds and Artur Beterbiev moves up in weight to the cruiserweight division.